in the spirit of Halloween, I just had to show you this steampunked, rat-rotted semi-truck, which is totally badass. Now here is another fine example of a really modest and functional build here at the SEMA Show. It's running 35-inch Toyos, and pretty much everything on it is made by Rhino. And that would include the rear bumper, the bed rack, the rocker guards or side steps, and front bumper. So of all the products on this Jeep that's made by Rhino, I have to say that the bed rack is what interests me the most. It is completely versatile. It has all kinds of additional hangers and mounts and grab handles and ways to attach all kinds of stuff. So it's actually pretty interesting and probably worth a look. And here we have yet another Gladiator. Clearly, they are what we're going to see at the show, at least for Jeeps anyway. I've been not finding a whole lot of JLs, maybe even a couple JKs, but white Gladiators of all things is what we're seeing. This one here is from Hostile Off-Road Wheels. And as you can see, this thing is actually really big, sitting on 42-inch Maxxis Trepidors, running the Hostile wheels, and completely adorned with what looks like bodyguard armor. Front bumper, rear bumper, rocker guards, and fenders. And up on top we can see there's a DV8 roof rack. In the back there's a DV8 tire carrier to secure that 42-inch tire in place. Dropping down underneath, we can see that this truck is suspended with a rock crawler suspension system, but it also has a hodgepodge of other parts, including rough country shocks, a Falcon steering stabilizer, Steer Smart's steering system, and both front and rear axles are still factory with some ARB diff covers. So I've been trying really hard not to cover any Broncos this year. Broncos were all about 2021. But this two-door, made by Bilstein, is simply sweet. In addition to running a set of 37-inch Nitto Ridge grapplers, what I really love about this build is its simple, clean, classic look. Everything from the white bumpers, the solid white wheels, and just the trim on it. It looks like something right out of the late 60s. Would you look at that? Yet another Gladiator. But I am stopping at this one because this one is brought to us by Rugged Ridge. All the products on it are pretty much it, and it looks great sitting on a set of 38-inch Cooper STT Pros. Let's take a look up front. So it looks like Rugged Ridge has gone through a lot of trouble to redesign their front bumper to make it look even more factory, if you could say that. Still a stamped steel, but it looks clean. If you can see, it's got metal tube fenders, rocker guards, light mounts on the cowl, roof rack with lights, and this really clean Baja style looking bed rack along with a slanted tire carrier in the back, something that we could actually really use on our Jeep. And they even have a rear bumper that's stamped steel, much like the front. And last but not least, the Rugged Ridge Snorkel, which we've actually featured on our videos in the past and is super easy to install without any cutting or drilling. Okay, I was wrong. There's one more thing I wanted to point out. It's these hood latches, locking hood latches by Rugged Ridge. You know, I gotta think that there's somebody out there who really wants this on their Jeep. So, on this Jeep JT Gladiator, there's a whole host of cladding on it made by a company called Air Design, and we actually highlighted them last year at the last year's SEMA Show, and I'm just not sure. I think you just need to see it for yourself. Yay, another JL. I was almost starting to think that there weren't any at the show. Let's give it a look. So this one is here at MagnaFlow, and what I really like about it is that it is really tame. And if anything, it's got a whole host of AEV products on it. The first of which is this stubby front bumper, something that I really liked a lot since they first introduced it a couple years back. Has a very factory look, especially being that it's stamped steel. And you can see here they've got their own lights and some forward-facing camera coming around to the side. You can see that it's actually riding on their Bilstein 8100 shock system. And this was specifically designed with AEV to be a dual sport suspension system. Coming around back, you can see they've got their rear bumper. This was actually introduced to the JK years ago, but they've also integrated it into the JL. And you can see they also have a fuel storage system that goes behind the spare tire. And they've even got small details like this third brake light relocation bracket with backup camera. Of course, what would be an AEV rig without a set of AEV wheels? Up top, we've got a GFC rooftop tent along with a Rome Adventure Company awning system. And last but not least, being that we're here at MagnaFlow, they've got this awesome exhaust system, which, based on experience, I can tell you they sound great. So check it out. They've even got these neoprene pads on the corners of the front bumper. What do you think they're for? For those of you who are familiar with Ian Johnson and his Big Tire Garage, and really a whole host of other shows that he's been on, including Extreme and Monster Garage, this is a rig that you should be familiar with. I am, of course, talking about this awesome custom-built YJ Wrangler made into a shop truck. And while it may not be shiny or pretty, it is definitely something that gets used and abused, and I do mean that in a good way. So that's our pre-show. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check back tomorrow for the official start of the 2022 SEMA Show, and the very first vehicle that we highlight is our very own here at EVO at booth number 12125. For those of you who are lucky enough to attend the show, of course, you'll get to see just a few of the modifications that EVO did to our Jeep. Also, be sure to stop by WAYALIFE.com because I've got tons of pictures of everything that you've seen in our videos and more, and there's all kinds of great discussions about all the products that you've been seeing.